Literally nothing. No evidence of anything. So everything that was just made up. The list was made up. The flight log was made up. Probably the island at this point, according to them, was made up. Jeffrey Epstein never even existed. Like, they're just trying to basically cover this like it never happened. All right, guys. So let's talk about Jeffrey. What the hell is going on? Right? So they originally come out and say, listen, we have all this information on Jeffrey Epstein. We have the client list. We have the flight logs. We have so much incriminating evidence. And the people that he was supplying these young girls to. Where did all that go? All of a sudden, DOJ comes back and says, we found no evidence whatsoever that he was doing any of these things. Nope, let it go. All done. Never a thing. Might as well say, who's Jeffrey at this point? Right? And I think the biggest disappointment that I personally have, it's not so much in the government itself, the DOJ, is more under the Trump administration, right? Because, yeah, he's not perfect. Nobody is. But we really had some hope that with his administration, the people that he put in charge of these situations and these departments, that, you know, with all the promises they were making, especially after they admitted they had evidence from, you know, Jeffrey Epstein's, all the recordings, the lists, the flight logs, that something was going to come out. And to basically slap us in the face and to sweep it under the rug, like nothing ever happened. Like, this guy is basically gone at this point, like irrelevant. That's insulting to us as Americans. It's insulting to the victims that actually went through, you know, these traumatic experiences with Jeffrey. And it's just very disappointing. I don't know which one is worse at this point. The PDF file or basically protecting the PDF file. Because when you know something that is wrong and you, I'm not saying enable it, but you are covering it up, I think it makes it just as bad, if not worse, to be honest with you. And I'm talking about the Trump administration. If they know something, if they see something, and they're just letting this thing go by the wayside and not put anybody behind bars whatsoever, at this point, you're enabling the situation. You're part of the problem. At this point, you are part of the problem. So we're gonna go over some clips today. I'm sure everybody's kind of talking about this. So yeah, let's go over some clips just so you guys can see what I'm referring to. First one that we're gonna go over is this one. Let's see.
But perhaps the biggest bombshell, investigators say they found no incriminating client list of Epstein's, no credible evidence that Epstein blackmailed prominent individuals, and no evidence that could predicate an investigation against uncharged third parties.
Literally nothing. No evidence of anything. So everything that was just made up. The list was made up. The flight log was made up. Probably the island at this point, according to them, was made up. Jeffrey Epstein never even existed. Like, they're just trying to basically cover this like it never happened.
For years, Epstein has been at the center of conspiracies surrounding both his death and a rumored client list allegedly used to blackmail powerful men. Attorney General Pam Bondi, back in February, was asked if the Justice Department intended to release a list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Bondi saying,
"This will tell you everything you need to know right now. This is how much BS these people want us to believe."
This.
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump. I'm reviewing that.
So have you seen anything that you said, oh my gosh?
Not yet.
And just last month, while feuding with President Trump, Elon Musk posting, "Time to drop the really big bomb. At real Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That is the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day, Donald J. Trump." But Musk later deleted that post and others, saying he went too far in attacking Trump. The president saying he cut ties with Epstein nearly 2 decades ago, saying even Epstein's lawyer cleared him. Andrew Dimbert, ABC News, New York.
And I will say this. I'm not 100% saying that Trump is involved, right? He might be, who knows? I'm not saying that he is, but I am saying is that they know who is involved and they're not doing anything about it. So like I said, if you're enabling the behavior and if you're pretty much trying to cover it up, you're part of the problem.
New York.
Let's see. There's another one here that I want to get to.
That there was no Jeffrey Epstein client list. What do you tell MAGA supporters who say they want anyone involved in Jeffrey Epstein's alleged crimes to be held accountable?
This administration wants anyone who has ever committed a crime to be held accountable, and I would argue this administration has done more to lock up bad guys than certainly the previous administration.
Okay, but even if that's the case, that's not the question you were asked. We don't need any filler information. He's literally asking you about the list, and you're over here basically saying, hey, we did this better than this last party. Who gives a crap?
And the Trump administration is committed to truth and to transparency. That's why the Attorney General and the FBI Director pledged at the President's direction to do an exhaustive review of all of the files related to Jeffrey Epstein's crimes and his death. And they put out a memo in conclusion of that review. There was material they did not release because, frankly, it was incredibly graphic and it contained child pornography, which is not something that's appropriate for public consumption. But they committed to an exhaustive investigation. That's what they did, and they provided the results of that. That's transparency.
Follow up on that,
Sure.
Caroline. Okay, so the FBI looks at the circumstances surrounding the death of Jeffrey Epstein. According to the report, this systematic review revealed no incriminating client list. So what happened to the Epstein client list
Exactly.
that the Attorney General said she had on her desk?
Now, so get a load of this, right? So now they're going to try to spin it and basically say, no, I wasn't talking about the specific list. I was talking about the overall case that I had on my desk and I have to go through it. Not a list. There was never a list. I was only referring to the actual overall case. Bunch of crap.
Well, I think if you go back and look at what the Attorney General said in that interview, which was on your network on Fox
I've
News.
got the quote.
Go ahead.
John Roberts said, DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen? And she said, it's sitting on my desk right now to review.
Yes, she was
What?
saying the entirety of all of the paperwork, all of the paper in relation to Jeffrey Epstein's crimes. That's what the Attorney General was referring to, and I'll let her speak for that. But again, when it comes to the FBI and the Department of Justice, they are more than committed to ensuring that bad people are put behind bars. They have an operation going on right now called Summer Heat.
Again, we don't need filler information. Nobody cares about any other things right now as far as the question that you were asked. This is what they do. They basically give you, listen, we're not doing this, but we're doing a lot of this over here, right? So if you just forget about this that we just kind of swept under the rug and focus on this right here, trust me, we're doing tons of work, bro. We're doing tons of work. Because honestly, they think the American people are dumb. That's just what it is.
Which has our murder rate trending in the lowest direction in United States history. Their emphasis on violent crime and locking up violent criminals has led to the arrest of 14,000 violent criminals. That's a 62% increase from the same time period last year. So this Attorney General and the FBI Director are committed to putting bad people behind bars where they belong. That they promised an exhaustive review. That's what they did. For any further details, I would refer you to the Department of Justice.
Yeah. And then there's another one that I want to also check out. This one is probably the most disappointing one. And again, it's not because it's just Trump's party. It's because they promised so many things. And it doesn't matter who you vote for. At the end of the day, it's really disappointing when you get all these promises, especially when it has to do with such a graphic case that you want some justice to be done, and then you don't get it, and then you basically get this type of effing response. Just take a look at this, and I think his response alone is what really gets me pissed off. Is that he really wants everybody to just forget about it like it never happened and to focus on everything else that he's doing, which, mind you, everybody has their own opinion on who they vote for. I thought he was doing a great job with certain things, but on this one, straight up just fumbled the effing ball.
Your memo and release yesterday on Jeffrey Epstein, it left some lingering mysteries. One of the biggest ones is whether he ever worked for a American or foreign intelligence agency. The former Labor Secretary, who was Miami U.S. Attorney Alex Kostic, allegedly said that he did work for an intelligence agency. So could you resolve whether or not he did? And also, could you say why there was a minute missing from the jailhouse tape on the night of his death?
Yeah, sure. If I
Wait a minute. Not to mention, they released a stupid video, a stupid little Mickey Mouse video, right? Where they show Epstein's quote unquote door of the jail cell being recorded at all times. And just conveniently enough, there's a minute missing. What happened during that minute? 1 minute. What happened during that 1 minute that apparently no one knows? And they want us to believe this thing.
Pam, could I just interrupt for
Sure.
1 second? Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable. Do you want to waste the time and do you feel like answering?
I don't mind answering.
I mean, I can't believe you're asking a question on Epstein at a time like this where we're
Really, you can't believe that. And we've been waiting for this list for how long now? That you've been promising?
having some of the greatest success and also tragedy with what happened in Texas. It just seems like a desecration, but you go ahead.
Sure. First, to back up on that, in February, I did an interview on Fox, and it's been getting a lot of attention because I said I was asked a question about the client list, and my response.
Yeah, and you probably told the truth back then. You probably said exactly what you thought was real. You have the list on your desk, and now somehow, they got to you.
Response was, it's sitting on my desk to be reviewed, meaning the file along with the JFK, MLK files as well. That's what I meant by that. Also, to the tens of thousands of video, they turned out to be child porn downloaded by that disgusting Jeffrey Epstein.
It's funny that you say that they were downloaded, where you guys specifically said there was cameras all over his house. Every inch of that house had cameras. So what happened to those videos? Obviously, I'm not expecting you guys to show those videos, but what were they? Just Epstein walking around the house?
Child porn is what they were. Never going to be released, never going to see the light of day. To him being an agent, I have no knowledge about that. We can get back to you on that. And the minute missing from the video, we released the video showing definitively the video was not conclusive, but the evidence prior
She's trying so hard not to mess this up.
to it was showing he committed suicide. And what was on that, there was a minute that was off the counter. And what we learned from Bureau of Prisons was every night, they redo that video. It's old, from like 1999. So every night the video is reset,
And it's
and
missing a
every
minute.
night should have the same minute missing. So we're looking for that video to release that.
Mind you, even if that is true, we will never hear that. We will never get that information. I guarantee you, because they know that's bullshit to begin with.
As well, showing that a minute is missing every night. And that's it on Epstein.
Of course it is. How convenient. How convenient for that to be it on Epstein. Let's just pretend it never happened. Let's just sweep it under the rug. My thing is, man, this world is so fucking corrupt. That's literally what it comes down to. We thought we had some type of hope when it came to these young girls. And everybody was basically on the same page. Hey, we have this list. He has these videos. The guy's behind bars, killed himself, which I don't think he did, but it is what it is. At least we had the flight logs. At least we had the list. So everybody that was basically on his plan and a participant was going to do their time and get their, and get what's supposed to come to them. And to just get this out of nowhere, basically disregarding the entire case. And now you seem to be weird if you ask about this guy. You seem to be stuck on the problem if you ask about this guy. No, we've been asking for this guy. We've been asking for the list. We've been asking for everybody that was part of the issue. But you know what? I think we found the answer. You, Donald Trump, and your administration are part of the problem. Listen, I was a big Trump supporter. I'm not gonna deny that, because I was very pro-life and things like that. And he did a lot of good things right. But this right here, I don't care what party I voted for. I can give two shits about the party that I vote for. If a party messed up, they messed up point blank. And this guy right here fumbled the fucking ball. But let me know what you guys think down below. I think this is a very disappointing day for America. And just goes to show, man, this whole, from the Diddy case to this shit right here, nah. Government, the whole thing is fucking corrupt. But I don't know. I'll check you guys on the next one. Let me know what you guys think down below.